Present.
Brad Reed,
Here.
Andy Kishitz,
Here.
Elizabeth Hutchins. Here. I know that Brian Holmes will not be joining tonight, but I believe Gabrielle will be along.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where this is just deliberation on the draft of a decision outline, whatnot, we can probably start because we have a quorum, and then she can just join along.
Yes, that sounds good.
Okay. So welcome, folks. Hi, Joe. How you doing? Hi, Jim. How are you doing?
Good.
Good.
Yep. Good evening. Good.
Hi. So you sent around or at least earlier today, issued a draft to us for review, Valerie. And then I think Joe sent back some preliminary comments. I guess just for full disclosure. So the draft that we're going to at least walk through to make sure there's no big gaps or we don't have any questions about what's in there. It hasn't been reviewed by town council yet, so we would certainly need town council to take a walkthrough of the document too before we could actually vote on the decision properly. So let's at least bring up the most recent version, Valerie, and then we can kick the tires on it.
I'm just sending this copy over to Jim so that he can follow along as well. Just a moment. Okay.
We have to keep them outside of the loop.
It's okay sometimes.
All right.
Mm.
Okay, I have it.
Okay, that's good. Now we don't, but we'll get there.
I'm not sure if you all can hear me right now.
Hey,
My-
yep, we just can't see the
Okay,
documents.
yeah, my whole computer is frozen. I may have to sign out and then rejoin you.
Okay. So you're in Danvers, right? Oh, you're mute. Are you in Danvers?
No, that's where our main office is.
Yeah. How's that town for 40B?
They're above 10.
Oh, great.
As are you.
Yeah. Took
I
us a while
think
to
we're,
get there.
I think
Slow
we're
and
over
steady wins the
10.
race.
Well over.
And we were what, 4% before, now we're 10 plus 4 plus whatever tonight is, there's another couple of units, so
Yeah. We'll be in a good position.
we're over 10, actually. I don't know, when you think, what is it, 1,800 houses in town?
Yeah, I can't remember what that number was in the most recent.
Somewhere
stock.
around there, 18,
Yeah.
1,900
Mhm.
houses, yeah.
Mhm.
So
So let's see, is Valerie back? Not yet. Interesting that Valerie was hosting the meeting and then she can sign out and sign back in, and we didn't know to sign back in.
Lost in cyberspace. Maybe you
Is that-
can't get back in when you sign out.
I don't know. Is town hall number 3308? Do you know last digits,
I have no idea.
phone number?
I think that sounds right.
Okay, let me just see if she's having any problems.
Oh, she's at the town hall, isn't she?
Yeah, that's right. Oh, didn't go through.
Yeah, I'm looking at her email. It's 978-779-3308.
Yeah. Try it again, see if I can.
Hmm.
if it goes through.
Yeah, I just calculated we're about 16.8% on our requirement.
Yeah. The good news is if there's new building in town, we'll stay ahead of it for a while.
Yeah, I think the planning board has a, at least when I was on the board, we had a little addendum that when you do a development, a certain percentage had to be affordable anyway, so,
Right,
right.
I think big one, so.
Hi, George.
Hey, so just checking in to see, are you having problems signing in?
Yes, my
Oh,
computer has, it's just how, booted back up for a very long time.
okay.
So
Well,
I'm, trying to get onto Zoom now.
okay,
Just go.
all right. Just want to be sure you're okay there. Like the town hall didn't
Thank
like.
you.
All right, thanks. All right. He's rebooted and trying to now get back onto Zoom. Just it's still running. I was just reading before I signed on, like Red Sox pitcher Chris Sale, he fell off a bike and broke his wrist.
He fell off a bike. I saw he was out for, I think, the season, right? Did they say he was out for the rest of the season?
Yeah, right. So he was doing some pitching, so, because he's been out with a broken finger and now he's warming up to pitching, I guess, over BC, and he went to take a bike, went out on a bike at lunchtime or something like that, and he hit a bump and fell and broke his wrist.
You would think with what they're paying the guy, he'd walk around with padded hands all the time. I mean,
But since he signed like a $45 million contract, he's only like pitched like 9 games.
yeah, guy's accident prone. He's a disaster. I mean,
He is now. He has been, but he was, boy.
And he had the tantrum out there in Worcester.
Yeah.
That was good. Yeah.
I was gonna say, we went to one of the Woo Sox games the night before he pitched, actually. We didn't realize that he was like even playing with them. But I'm like, he's not been doing anything for the amount of money that he's getting paid for the Red Sox. It's like, come on.
Time to move on.
Yeah, I hope they have an insurance policy, but yeah.
Yeah. It's all right. Football starts Thursday, so everything changes.
We get paid, we earn more pay for what we do than he does for what he gets.
We're gonna say the town gets their money's worth here, right?
You're not kidding.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yep, they do.
So Gabriella, we lost, I don't know if you joined before, but we had everyone on, and then Valerie's computer, she went to share something and it she lost her computer, so she's trying to reboot and get us all back online. So
I was in the waiting room for a while, so I didn't know if something was going on with her because usually she's really fast.
yeah, so we've called her. She said she was rebooting, but I haven't heard back from her yet. Nope.
Whose dog?
Oh, here she comes. Good.
It's my mother-in-law's dog. He's very, very vocal. My dog is sitting quietly in the corner.
So my daughter and her boyfriend and their dog, a puppy from, it's a Bernedoodle, so it's a big dog. It's only 11 months old though. Were here last week, and I think they live in a condo in DC, so it's much smaller and there's not as much, there's no yard in the scene, but this dog was like running like crazy. It had, so excited, but they said they never hear it bark at all in DC. And boy, it found its voice in Bolton.
Sorry about that.
I'm back.
I am not going to share my screen again because it's going to happen again. So I'll, if someone else is able to pull up a copy of Joe's resolution, that'd be great. It seems like our internet here is not doing very well. So
Oh, can you bring up your the most recent document you had? Oh, no, Joe's frozen.
Looks like his screen is frozen.
Yeah. Let me see. Oh, did we lose Joe? Maybe a glitch night. Oh, hey, Joe, you there? Oh,
This meeting is clearly cursed.
There's Joe.
there you go. Hey, Joe, can you bring up your most recent draft? Valerie says she's having internet problems and she's not sure it's stable enough to bring up a doc. Ah, perfect.
there we go. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so the outline is going to be similar to all our decisions, so let's just walk through. So Jim, is that the right way to spell northeast, north with a capital E?
Yeah, that's the way we do it.
Okay, because it was just Valerie in the document. I think there were a couple places where it was then north, just lowercase e. So we'll just when we ultimately finalize it, just make sure it's
Okay.
consistent. Yeah. So we got our applicant, the owner, premises. The request for approval is a 40B, members participating, members voting. So the hearing on that close date would be July 25th.
Yes, that's right. That should be.
Okay. And then we'll flip there. So on item 3, with that, the Bolton Independent would have been July 21 and July 28, 21.
Thank you. Yep, must have been typing too fast.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's see there. I think all those dates, at least chronologically, they look right. And the 25th is the date. It says the last one there. So yeah, that's consistent. 5, 6, okay, it looks like. All your bio information's right, Joe, address and everything.
Should we add on number 4, the deliberations, or is that further down?
Yeah, we should add it. It's not further down, I don't believe.
And
Here's the 9th.
here's the 9th.
Mhm. Mhm. On item 10, can we insert traffic, speed, sightlines, or traffic and sightlines concerns in there too? That's right. Mhm.
This is all right out of the project eligibility letter.
Mhm. Okay. So Jim, you're gonna sprinkle the buildings, right?
That is correct. Yeah, it's not a full sprinkler though, is my understanding. It's just, I think under the bedroom requirements, I think the bedrooms have to have sprinklers. It's a minor sprinkler system. I'm told that the water tank goes underneath the stairway because we're gonna have a full foundation.
Mhm.
And that's what we agreed to with the fire department.
Okay, yeah. So jurisdictional requirements, this was all vetted early on in the process.
And I have a comment on number 2.
Okay.
Does it make sense somewhere in number 2 to add the words "at the time of the application"? And my goal here would be to make it abundantly clear that our decision from last week has no bearing on the applicability of this project.
Yeah, that's a good point. Mhm. All right.
I don't know if that means that you need to change the tense or anything or not.
Just, had not otherwise, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
We had 69 subsidized units, that sort of thing.
Mhm. Okay.
I think it's fine as is because the SHI has not yet been updated.
Mhm. Okay. All right, so the need. Restricted with no more than 2 occupants on it. East Worcester. Valley, flip to the next page.
So I had taken 6 and 7 and kind of combined them into 4,
Right.
because we're talking about deed restrictions
Mhm.
here.
Yep.
And we should get clarification from Jim that there is going to be a deed restriction on the 6 market rate units, that they'll be restricted to no more than 2 occupants, owner occupied, with at least one of the owners age 55 at the time of purchase.
Yes.
All right, and that sounds good. Yeah, okay. That's a good addition to 11.
So what happens there? Does the applicant have to come back when signage is being considered?
No, they can propose signage, but it has to fully comply with the
Mhm.
sign provisions of the zoning bylaw.
Yeah, the selectmen. Yeah. Mhm. Okay. So this is where, the fire chief recommended the applicant install single-family home sprinkler systems in each dwelling to comply with national, 13R. So is that what yours, the sprinklers will do, Jim?
Yes, that's what I believe.
Okay, thanks. And then the propane, we have that requirement in there, the 1900.
Yep.
Okay. 14, 15, and 16, those are all just facts from their submissions. Okay. So wait for the negotiation. So this is just, this next table is just pulled right out, and it just notes whether they approved, or I think there was the one that was not necessary, so it was just a lot denied here. Mhm.
Right.
Mhm. Okay. The decision format. Okay, non-substantial, that's a regular purpose of town. Joe had a question on that, where that 3,000 was derived, Valerie?
Yeah, I will definitely check with DP to see what the current
Mhm.
view is. This was taken from past planning board decisions and ZBA decisions, and it's been a couple of years, so
Mhm.
good to review.
Yeah. So subsidizing agency, regulatory agreement and deed riders.
So this was one that Attorney Horowitz
Approval.
pushed back on last week. And we had discussions about the use of, the word approval.
Secondary approvals, right? So has it been determined that Mark, the MCO housing will be the lottery agent?
Not at this time.
Yeah. So should that other language or such other organization be kept in there, or is that because it's an
Well,
approval?
You don't have the approval authority on the lottery agent.
Okay.
What we could say is the applicant shall inform the board of
The organization selected. Do you have a preferred group at this point, or is that not yet something you consider?
Not something I have chosen yet.
Yeah. A little bit far out from that.
Yeah. But they have to be approved anyway, right, Joe?
Yes.
They got to be approved lottery agent, so.
Yeah. Serve as the section of, okay. Millennium documents.
On the condominium documents, there's also going to be policing of the occupancy restrictions and the age restriction. It's just very common in an age restricted project. So although the town has policing powers either through the Board of Health approval, which is going to have to closely restrict the well approval, this comprehensive permit, but we also want the condominium association to understand that they have
requirements to
do the same. And there'll be a desire by those residents to do that, to preserve the age restricted component.
Well, also, doesn't it impact their water potentially if they have either more people in and things like that? So
yeah, it'll bring them out of compliance with their wells.
Right.
We had some discussion, and I can't remember what the end result was, but are we able to age restrict the affordable units, or are we not able to do that?
It's a little questionable with regards to the jiving of the federal fair housing requirements, and it will come into play if somebody enters the lottery and is successful in getting a unit and then challenges the age restriction. The way the federal government thinks is any age restrictive project can only be up to 80% age restricted.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that this is consistent, because we didn't say anything about that in the findings, which is fine based on what you just said. But here, when it talks about policing of the age restriction, it doesn't talk about it being specific to the market rate units.
Yeah,
so
in the findings, I did say the 6 market rate units would be further restricted.
to no more than 2, right?
That's in the findings section.
Right, but that's specific to the market rate units, right?
Correct,
So
and
we're not
that's all.
any...
Right, that's all we should do, so that the decision doesn't fly in the face of fair housing, and then just let the lottery do what the lotteries do.
Okay.
And what what usually happens is people know that it's an age restricted project overall.
Yeah,
They don't put their names into the lottery.
right.
The other thing we did do, if I could speak on this, is we adjusted when we downsized down to 8 units. We made sure that we have the capacity in the affordable units if somebody comes in with children.
Mhm.
So it doesn't tax our infrastructure.
Right.
I just want to make sure that when we get, and maybe this is completely external of this, but when we get to those condominium documents, that the people moving in understand that those affordable units are not necessarily age restricted, and they wouldn't ever try to enforce something that's out of their hands. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So
Yep.
I just,
So Liz, are you saying that you'd like of the 6 market rate units to be also added to the last sentence?
yeah, I think that would make sense. So then it's at least clear, because the way that it's delineated here looks like the occupant restriction applies, but the age restriction would apply to all of them.
Okay. Good pickup.
Does that make sense with you, Joe?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, wetlands.
I have a question on number 8.
Yep.
There's a lot of bound corners that are out there now. Could we add some language to that where I would be responsible to demarcate where there are no corners? Like there was drill holes set, there was iron pins out there. There's a bunch of stuff that's out there now.
Mhm.
I wouldn't want to rip out something and then try to redo a boundary corner.
Mhm. And is it concrete monuments? Is that the preferred way to mark them, or what is the?
There is some stone monuments out there on the back corner. There are some drill holes that are along the wall. Like if you don't want to play around with the farm wall. So what they do is they put a drill hole in as property corners, what's normal and customary in survey. So I don't want to agree to put in bound points where I already have them. You know, I think there might be 1 or 2 corners that the bounds aren't in for whatever reason. There wasn't a proper corner, it didn't abut somebody.
Okay.
But over the process of this kind of application, there were several surveyors that went out there and set bound corners already. I know GC Wilson did a lot of work out there for he hired, the abutters had hired him, and he laid out almost every corner. So if I could ask the ZBA just to add that language like Joe did.
Is that the language you're looking to see where no survey markers currently exist?
Yes, yeah, that way I'm not, you know, upsetting somebody's work, you know?
Mhm. But at the end of the day, the property, there'll be sufficient proof of the property lines, so that.
Yeah.
No dispute.
You know, with number 8, every corner will be in. And I think that's what's important is make sure every corner is there. I think I know of 1 corner that's not in behind unit 1. I know that corner is not there. I personally had looked for it in the past. That's not there. And it was, so it, you know, where there is not existing monumentation, we will add it to make sure every corner is in.
Yeah, okay. Good. And scenic road, tree removal, right?
Yeah, I'm a little uncertain on this one with regards to whether scenic roads is a local approval. State statute. But it's locally administered. I guess the question is it a big deal?
That depends.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that comes up when somebody wants to make major alterations, usually of stone walls or some other thing on a scenic
Oh,
road. Then, of course,
I think
it's
we've
going
got,
to be a hearing.
yeah, we've got both a stone wall here and I think there's one or two trees in the right of way that um proposed to come down. So
Well, if somebody complains, then it becomes an issue. The point is, if you knock down a bunch of walls and things, people are going to probably make.
So I,
Valerie,
Wasn't
was this in an, was
Aren't
this
we
in
covered by
another,
the planning diagrams? No? The landscaping?
the question is the scenic roads approval subsumed into the comprehensive permit?
Okay.
What this condition is currently saying is the applicant needs to go to the planning board and tree warden,
Mhm.
who act as the scenic roads approval authority,
I think
get
that
a subsequent approval.
what I had intended is to say removal of any additional trees not currently marked out. So, thinking if in the installation of the underground infiltration system that's right along South Bolton Road, if one of those large trees does need to come down, I would just hope that there's a process in the future.
Well, it only applies to land in the right of way anyway, which is town-owned
Right.
land. So it's not something you can do by right anyway if you're
Well, it's
somebody developing property.
right within the public right of way. Yeah.
Mhm.
What are we calling the plans?
We could just refer to them as site plan through last revised May 29th.
I could say referenced herein.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, I think that works.
Okay. And signage, so confirmed, right? There's no waiver on that. Landscaping screening.
I'm not, I thought that the neighbor had brought up,
Right, the number of,
the plan showed 3 trees. And
Mhm.
she wanted 10, or I think that's what we're looking for is there a number that we need to put in here so that it's memorialized with regards to what Jim's.
Yeah. If I could speak on that, Joe, what we agreed to is a buffer zone from the shed to the home. It was like 35 or 40 feet long. And that was their biggest concern.
So if it's 35 feet long and you're putting in what, arborvitae?
Yeah. What's the spacing, like 5 feet on
You want
those?
to do arborvitae at 6-foot spacing.
So call
So
it 42 feet, something round, right?
yeah, 7.
Yeah, yep. And that was their biggest concern, the abutters there. They weren't really worried about, because they felt that the buffer that I originally showed there was behind the shed. And they're like, no, we want it from the shed to the house. They thought the shed provided enough screening.
Mhm.
That was within the property. Between the shed and
The back of the garage.
The rear of the garage.
Yeah.
I think that's as detailed as we're gonna get.
Mhm. The site distance mitigation, we had that in the section, or the blind driveway. Board of Health review.
I have a comment on number 14. I think that's a carryover from another plan. We're not required on that sheet. If you read that sheet, C5.1, there is no nitrogen reduction treatment required.
That was my understanding, because you're not, because these are private independent wells, not public water supplies, you don't have a zone 1, so you're not nitrogen sensitive,
Right.
and you don't have to have the 440 gallons per day per acre.
Correct.
Right, I think I had just seen the nitrogen treatment notes
Right. And if you
Kept
read
on-
on these notes,
kept on writing. Yeah.
So we've answered this question.
Mhm. Right. Construction plans. Mhm. So on 16 or the 17, now 16, should we identify the 2 units? Because weren't they on the plans identified?
we
That's
we
the-
we identified them in a public hearing. There are units 2 and 5.
Right. Okay.
The construction hours of operation, I pulled that from the Woods at Farm Road, which is a 4 lot, I'm sorry, 4 unit comprehensive permit. But I wrote this to be more restrictive so the board can kind of pull it back if you wish to.
It says earlier on that the recommendation was to not have construction activities during the weekends as well.
Right.
So that
That
was
was in a finding, yeah.
I had a question on that.
Mhm.
Is sometimes in subdivision approval, I know the planning board, if something is to change that is kind of out of our control, like market conditions or some kind of storm or something, and we need to do something, sometimes it's open, and I don't know, Joe can comment on this, if I go for permission to somebody at the town, if we can get permission to operate on a Saturday if need be, just not regular scheduled on a Saturday.
Yeah, that has been done in the past, just to have a discussion with the building inspector for that.
Okay. Yeah, I would agree to something like that. I don't plan on working Saturdays, but the economy's got me a little nervous. I don't know what I'm gonna have to do to keep like the bank happy, if I'm gonna have to deliver something or something like that. Is if I could be able to ask for permission, and it would only be 7 to noon on Saturday, no later.
Board comfortable with 7 and noon, or 7 too early?
Yeah. So would that be as granted by the building inspector? So the timing would be, so work, work on like Saturday morning work hours as, or is that not allowed to have the building inspector dictate those hours?
You can appoint that the building inspector as the board's agent for deciding this.
Okay. Mhm. Okay, that's right. Like that. So that, similar to that other, so this escrow for construction on site, is that number stale or is that a good number for 5,000 and number 19?
That should be a good number for size project.
Okay.
I had one question on that. Who would be the engineering company? Joe, do you know?
We would likely use Horsley Witten Group if they're available, as they've been providing engineering
Okay.
peer review. throughout the
Okay, I would be comfortable with them if they're available.
That's what we've done on the, on those that we actually been able to permit and have construction on, they've been involved, so.
Okay.
It was pretty standard.
Yep.
Standard.
Mhm.
Do we, on 23, there was a lot of talk about saving the trees at the top of the hill before the work. Before the earthwork starts.
Mhm.
Yeah, we should have a time on that. So prior to commencement of construction. Is that where you're headed?
And well, the other thing is, do we want somebody to look at the line? So stake the line, look at the line, set the fencing before they start the work.
Yeah, that could be something that we review at the pre-construction meeting.
Mhm. That's a good idea.
As well as those staging areas. There's not a.
What am I trying to say here? So we want to review it during the pre-construction meeting and then install the fence.
Right.
Joe, shouldn't we install the fence and then it gets reviewed at the pre-construction meeting?
You don't want to have to remove that fence. Move the fence if in the infinite wisdom of those that are on the sidewalk say that limit of fence, say the limit of work goes right through a tree,
Right.
and you put it on the wrong side and they want to move it to the right side, or they think that because of the root ball, the roots system, they want to move it in a little bit more.
Okay.
That's
Right.
what and that was something that the neighbors were really concerned about, especially at the top of it.
Yeah.
And I've been on a lot of sites where those trees are the most vulnerable to coming down, and if they don't give them enough room, they're going to topple. And you don't want them topple because they're going to come down on your houses.
Yeah.
And the neighbors will be all over you. So I mean doing that.
So Joe, there are some like silt fence shown on the plan that can be installed prior to the site visit, correct?
I would just do it all at once.
Okay.
You want to just mobilize your fence crew. So most erosion control fence people want the line staked. They don't want to have to figure it out. And I think this line is critical with both the wetlands setbacks and the neighbors at the top of the hill.
Okay.
So I think you're going to want to stake the entire thing, have the site view of the site meeting, and then do it.
Okay.
So with that same preface prior to the construction meeting in the staging area?
Staging areas are tough. They're going to move all the time. I think once you have the limit of work done, they need to have some liberties.
Okay, yep.
This is trying to say, all right, you need to have clear staging areas and they need to be on site. You can't park in the street.
Yeah, I remember the abutters had some questions about the staging area, just to be sure that they were well controlled and covered or things like that.
Is there any language you want to add to this one to memorialize that?
I just recall that wasn't the Bethunes and the Hoyts concerned about staging, Jim?
Yeah, there was some talk about in the open meadow on my property about where the septic is going to go, or just below the septic. I think the engineers showed a stockpile area of loam or dirt or any type of soils, and they wanted it. That's why they really wanted the buffer that we talked about earlier, but make sure that there's not a lot of dust there. Right. And then the thing we talked about is under the other permits that are required under the stormwater permits, I gotta secure my piles and stuff anyway.
Yeah, that'll be in the SWIP.
Okay.
We've got a condition that requires the SWIP. Stormwater pollution prevention.
Right. So I mean, that's probably fine for the staging. I mean, I'm sure Jim doesn't want to invite any type of animosity when he's out there trying to do the job. So. Structure occupancy.
The only suggestion I'd make to number 28 is who is defining adequately. I mean, it's the call of the
Building.
building inspector
Right.
to issue the occupancy permit.
Mhm.
You leave it this way and it's inferred that it's the building inspector's call.
Mhm.
We might want to state that more explicitly, actually. Just considering the way the approvals happen for occupancy permits.
Dwelling unit as
Building inspector.
Yeah.
or until adequate security has been provided acceptable board to ensure such.
And that's financial security.
Yep.
Mhm.
That's where town council might add some
Right. Mhm.
language just to say these are the general laws that
Right.
allow a board to
Mhm.
take security
Right.
process for what you do with it
Mhm.
and how you return it.
Right, whether it be, okay. So do we have to put a note in there to, or town council is gonna look at every paragraph anyway, so probably don't have to highlight it.
They usually key on stuff like this,
Mhm.
implications.
Mhm. Okay. Post-construction cost certification as built.
It's just
That came from a previous decision. I don't know if it originally came from the fire chief. I can,
yeah, I mean, the state fire access code says 20. How wide is the road?
the road is 20, right?
I would say consistent with the fire access code.
Okay.
So you just guys keep it clear, curb to curb.
Mhm.
Is it a road or a common driveway?
It's the common driveway. But under the fire access code, it's considered a fire lane or fire access lane, which is required to be 20 feet.
So then that's just a local preference item there.
Yep, and it's got the language with regards to the applicant providing reasonable and timely assistance.
Yep. Okay. The 12 units and homes, yeah, okay. Voting on decision. That's a final approval, lapse.
Yep.
Mhm.
Today's the documents.
Mhm. I think in some of those documents, I think there's some reference to where the name of the applicant is spelled different from the beginning, so we can just we'll spell check those at the end. Make sure it's consistent, northeast with a capital E.
So I think all that's left is for town council to zip through this,
Mhm.
which is going to require the board to meet one more time,
Mhm.
just to review any red line changes that the town council comes up with, and then only have the vote.
Right. So Jim, your initial walkthrough of this, you're comfortable with the edits made and understand that normally, had we had the version already reviewed by town council, we probably could have got to a point where we could then entertain a motion to, vote on this, but certainly it behooves us to make sure town council has a look at it.
Yeah, I understand that, and I appreciate everybody's work, and I do understand the changes.
Okay. So, well, that's good. So Valerie, have you talked to Don Lowe about being able to ship this over to town council for review?
Yes. Yep. Yeah.
And what's
I
that
think-
time? What's that timing?
Well, I've already emailed town council last week, just let them know to expect this any day now. So I think, Joe, if you want to just send me over the edits that you made tonight, I can send it over to council tomorrow.
Okay.
They typically, I mean, I'm not sure exactly what his schedule is, but it could be within a week for a turnaround here.
Right. Well, I'll be out of pocket next week, so it would have to be either the following week or when we have our next hearing. I mean, if it's just at that point reviewing and concurring that if town council made any edits, then we could just entertain the motion, and so we could piggyback it on. I think we had a variance hearing coming up, but
that one is not until the 31st.
okay. Yeah, we have to do it within the 40. What's the 40-day deadline? Not that we will have to go to the.
So that's from July 25th.
Right.
So that's September 3rd is a Saturday, so Friday, the September 2nd.
Okay, so I guess because we don't know, do we have to continue to a date certain for a working session, or can we? Okay, so when you get comments back, you can poll the team and see if it's available, but worst case is that we probably could piggyback it onto that variance night, because I know people's schedules wrapping up summer and things may be less flexible than we have been all throughout this.
You just need to post it 48 hours in advance.
So you can accommodate all that, Valerie, with all your outgoing things?
Yes, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
And Joe has kindly offered to, help us along if there's any delay where, you weren't available, but, I think we'll hopefully be able to wrap this all up under your purview.
Yeah, no, I can work with Merrick and O'Connell. Certainly, Valerie, you said it was going to be Brian Falk.
That's
Probably.
right. Yep.
Yeah, I do a lot of work with Brian, so just tell him to call me if he's got any questions or if he wants to go over anything. And if you're too busy, happy to jump in and try to get it wrapped and packaged up for the board.
All right.
All right.
I have one little question that just intrigues me is a property that is not yet assigned a street address usually referred to as 0, like the premises are referred to here?
That's
Yeah.
what the assessors do.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we all set on this for the night. We can let Joe and Jim go. We have a couple of sets of minutes that we could review tonight if people have the time, and
Okay.
that we can close our side. All right, thanks, Joe. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, guys. Really appreciate all your time.
Getting close, Jim.
Yeah, I know we are. Thank you so much.
Yep, bye.
Bye.
So tacking it on to the other meeting sounds good to me, so.
Yeah, right. I don't add unless it's necessary. That's why I thought the 40-day time period were good.
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay. So would you have to
I'll,
post that, Valerie, if we already had a hearing that night? Extra.
Yes, I would need to put it on the agenda.
Okay.
I don't know when my successor is going to start. So they haven't started interviewing yet. So I'm not sure how that may go. What I'll do is just when town council provides me with any further edits, I'll send an email out to all of you and you can make the decision then if you want to try to have a meeting the week of the 22nd or just tack it on to the 31st, I can always just post that agenda as early as I can, so that's there.
So when's your technical last day?
The 25th.
Oh, 25th. So yeah, so I see what you're saying. Yeah. So, yeah, so we'll let's see what time council says, what their timing is, and that will determine what we need to do.
All right, sounds good.
Okay. All right, so you had 2 minutes, one from 7:21 and one from 7:25, is that right?
Yes, that's right. So I'm getting assistance from the building department on some other minutes. So I'll hopefully, be able to have those ready for whenever the next meeting is, if it's the 31st or beforehand. I know we have some going back to May. So,
right. Well, but for the two for tonight, did you want to review those tonight?
Yes. Yeah. We can. If you have any comments about them, you can let me know. I can try to share my screen. I am worried that my computer is going to crash again.
Yeah, you might blow up the system again.
Yeah.
So I looked through both of them and I didn't have any comments except for one where I closed out of the stuff on my computer now too, so I can't log back in. But I think it was the 21st, from the 21st. I wasn't listed as voting to close the meeting, but in the meeting, it was the one that there was Alta. I think that was the 21st.
Right, yeah, it was. Yeah, the 21st was Alta, the 25th was, right,
yeah, so all 6 of us were at that meeting, but it looks like only 5 votes to close the meeting.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I must have just.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was a copy paste thing. Not a big deal.
and I think
but beyond that, I didn't have any other comments.
Actually, wait, it wouldn't have been it looks like you were not at the 21st.
Maybe it was the other one, the 25th.
Yeah, I actually put you present, though. I should take you off of that. Yeah, okay.
And the only thing I saw, I read through them, and I can't remember which one it was, but if you just search, you had SQFT per square foot, with just one period. You may just print that SQ period FT, but it's minor, but I didn't see anything that.
Yeah, that's easy. I can fix that.
Right.
I didn't notice anything either.
No, it looked good to me.
Okay. Did you have a chance to look at them, Gabrielle?
I did, yeah, and I didn't have any comments either.
Okay. All right. So we could probably then entertain a motion to approve.
It was the July 21st minutes, Valerie. Is that?
I don't think that you attended that meeting.
I definitely did. I didn't vote because that was the one where we talked about the
Am I getting confused? Okay.
The Annie Moore Road.
Right, that was one for the pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see. To adjourn. Okay. All right. I'll get you in there.
No worries. Oh, and then I note too, on the 25th, I'm listed as an associate member on the preamble.
You were demoted that night.
It's fine.
Well, because we're back, I'm using templates from April and May, and that
yeah,
probably appointed back then.
Can we make a motion to approve both and without having to do individual?
Yes, that's fine.
If you have no objections, I would make a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
For July 21st and July 25th.
Correct.
Second.
And those in favor, Brad Reed,
Yes.
Gerard Ahern,
Yes.
Andy Kishitz,
Yes.
Elizabeth Hutchins,
Yes.
and Gabriella Mano.
Yes.
Okay, so that's good. Took care of that business. So I guess the motion to adjourn, and then we'll wait for Valerie to let us know what town council says.
Yeah.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
Thanks, Brad.
Second.
And those in favor, Brad Reed,
Yes.
Gerard Ahern,
Yes.
Andy Kishitz,
Yes.
Elizabeth Hutchins,
Yes.
and Gabriella Mano.
Yes.
Perfect.
Right.
All right.
Good night.
Thanks, folks.
Thank you
Have
so
a good
much.
rest of the week.